Hey everybody, Mike from the Focus Garage coming at you today with one more video. Now, I know we've been working a lot on Tuono here, but I pretty much decided that I wanted to go 0 to 100 and do all the mods that I want to do on the bike. And if you saw the last video, we were working on some front and rear axle sliders. Well, today we're finishing up the protection package here with some R&G Frame Sliders. Now, I've gone ahead and installed one side of the motorcycle here. I want to show you what it looks like and then kind of show you what the process looks like on the other side. So here is what this bad boy looks like all complete. So, uses two existing motor mount bolts and the spacers behind it, and you will use your own spacers. But here's what it looks like. The long side of the bracket goes forwards towards the front of the motorcycle. This is sweep, so that way there's more kind of protection moving forwards. And that's pretty much what it looks like. The only thing to note is that they do provide some hardware. The longer hardware is going to go on the right-hand side of the motorcycle. So there's two different length bolts. These are the shorter ones that'll go on the other side. They do provide these zinc-plated ones here that look like they are for using to secure the slider itself there. And then that cap goes on there. But that's kind of how that works. So here we've got the other side. We're going to go ahead and put this on, but I want to show you kind of what you need to remove in order to do it. To prep the bike for what you need to do on this side, there are no spacers. So you just have two 13mm bolts here. You need to go ahead and remove these, put some blue Loctite on the bolts for the slider itself, and then using both provided spacers, install them. And what I mean by that is R&G will provide two different length spacers. You can see here there's a smaller one and a larger one, and you need to use both of them. There's a lot of ambiguity online as far as on this motorcycle. This is a 2021, what you need to use. And everything I saw online says you need to use both of them. So I'm gonna put the bigger one up against the bike and the smaller one up against the spacer. But these pretty much just sandwich between this itself and the motorcycle. So on the other side, I'm gonna go ahead, pull out those 13s, get some Loctite on these guys, get them ready to go, and then get it installed. Again, this is what that looks like once it's installed. It's a nice look. They don't poke out any farther than the bars do, so you don't have to worry about losing any kind of clearance. But these will literally save your plastics if the bike ever goes down. This will take the abuse, not scratching up your plastics and breaking your expensive fairing. These are sacrificial, and that is what they are here for. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that installed on the other side. All right, so we've got the left-hand side installed, and I just want to give you my little piece of advice before I button everything up here. The bolts that are used here and here to connect to the engine need to be tightened to 35 foot-pounds. That is a torque spec that I found online. And then the bolt here that secures the actual slider to the bracket itself, this needs to be about 30 foot-pounds of torque. So 35, and about 30 for that. This will have the little cap that goes over it. Again, the little pieces of advice that I have is the fat part goes forwards and they kind of taper off as you move back. And then the long part of the slider goes towards the front of the motorcycle. This is due to create the spacing that you see here between the frame itself and the slider. I'll show you what it looks like on this side. And then just another look over here at this side. So we've got, it's not touching the frame at all. You've got the slider out here. Everything is nice and tight, and there is space between it. Again, 35. The right-hand side uses the longer bolts, and then 30 in there on that guy. That is gonna wrap up the installation of the R&G style kind of puck frame sliders for the Aprilia Tuono. These are another one that are listed for older models, but the fitment on the 21s is kind of unknown. I'm here to tell you it does fit as long as you use both provided spacers that come from R&G. This will keep the piece away from the frame. And again, this is another one of those things where it's going to save a lot of your motorcycle should it ever go down. You can see here, they're pretty aerodynamic. I do like that they're black. They kind of flow with everything. But I dig them. That's gonna wrap it up for this video. Please drop any kind of questions, comments, concerns down below in the comments. And I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I will catch you in the next video.